Hello friends, welcome to LeggLife. My name is Adam and welcome to our Sunday video. Now, our Sunday videos are different than videos on our channel the rest of the week because on Sundays we focus on things like cooking and recipes, our keto journey. The problem is that I'm actually traveling for work and so I haven't been home in several days and I haven't cooked anything because I don't know if you guys are like me, but when you're on the road, like every meal is just out at a restaurant or it's something you just pick up really quick. It's all about convenience, and also I'm not staying in a hotel that has a kitchen, so cooking would be difficult. But I still wanted to figure out a way to make a video for Sunday that was still food related. And then I remembered something that we had talked about recently. Now, I don't remember if it was on a vlog or if it was on a podcast or like a social media post, but Sherri and I were talking about our favorite sub sandwich restaurants. We kind of ranked them. We gave you guys our favorites. And so many of you responded and you guys were like, I cannot believe you didn't include Publix. Apparently, pub subs are like a big deal to a lot of you. And so I made this mental note. I was like, you know what? Next time I'm around a Publix, I want to try a Publix sub for the first time. So in today's video, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, for those of you guys who might not know, Publix is basically just like a grocery chain. Now, it's not a grocery store that we have in Alaska. I've been to a few of them as I've traveled, but I've just never thought to get their sub there. I guess I don't know, I don't associate Publix with subs, but apparently you guys do. Now, before I jump into this, I want you to know, subs are a big deal to me. These are one of my favorite foods, definitely like a favorite grab and go lunch. And my current ranking, the way I would rank kind of the bigger sub chains, my favorite, without a doubt, is Jersey Mike's. I'm a huge Jersey Mike's fan. And then I'd probably go like Firehouse, and then I'd go like Jimmy John's, and then Subway. Now, I don't dislike Subway, because like subs to me are kind of like pizza, like even bad pizza is still pretty good pizza. That's kind of how I feel about subs, but I'm excited to try this bad boy. So we're gonna open it up, and just so you know, I ordered the Italian on white, and the reason I went with an Italian is that this is the kind of thing I order at all sub restaurants. Like I've gotten this kind of sandwich at every sub restaurant I go to. This is like my go-to order. They did ask if I wanted like Publix meat or boar's head meat. And I said boar's head because like, if I'm gonna compare it, like go with the best, right? So it does smell delicious. Now, let me tell you what I got on it as far as toppings go. I obviously got the meat. I got provolone cheese. I got lettuce, I got tomatoes, I got onions. I did not get mayonnaise and mustard. I am not a mayo and mustard on my Italian sub. I am an oil and vinegar fan. So this is what it looks like. You guys can kind of see that. Like it looks really good. It certainly smells right. Like this is what I want my Italian sub to smell like. So here we go, guys. This is on you, okay? I'm not the one who said that I wanted to try a Publix sub. You guys are the ones who said I had to try this. So fingers crossed you didn't steer me wrong. And then after I try this, after I kind of give you where I think it falls on my sub ranking, we're gonna talk a little bit. But cheers. Let's see how it is. My very first Publix sub. Okay. I have a lot of thoughts. First of all, it's really good. And it doesn't taste like, I hope this makes sense. It doesn't taste like what a sub from a grocery store I expected it to taste like. When I think of like deli food at a grocery store, I just think of like super mediocre, right? Like everything is just, it's good enough. And that's all the grocery store deli food needs to be, is good enough. But this sub to me actually tastes like a sub that would come from like a sandwich shop. Like it's that good. Now, as far as where I think it ranks, to me, it's still not as good as Jersey Mike's, which is definitely my number one. I don't think it's as good as Firehouse, which is still my number two. But I think it's better than Jimmy John's and Subway, which would have been my number 3 and 4, but I would put Publix at number 3 for me. This would be my third favorite sub. Now, obviously there are lots of other sub chains, right? There's Potbelly's, I've had that. There's lots of other ones, but these are just kind of the bigger ones, or like the ones that we have in Anchorage or that I've had a lot. So Publix, I've gotta say, I'm actually pretty impressed with how your sub is. But I will say, I'm not sure Sherri would like a Publix sub. And the reason, and now this could just be like my experience. The reason is that the bread is pretty crispy. It's pretty hard, like not hard in like a stale way because the inside of the bread is still like super soft, but like the outside is just like, it's got a crunch to it, which I don't mind at all. It's almost the consistency of like a sourdough, but Sherri doesn't love that because like hard crunchy bread on the outside like cuts up her mouth, and so she would avoid this kind of bread. So I'm not positive that Sherri would like this as much as I do, but I'm gonna go finish my dinner, I'm gonna go finish my sub, and then we're gonna have a talk. So my sub is done. It was delicious. I'm not mad about that at all. I would for sure get one again. I will say there's a Jersey Mike's like right around the corner from my hotel. I would go to Jersey Mike's before I went back to Publix though, but again, that's just me. Publix, for a grocery store, killing the sandwich game though. Hands down, the best grocery store sandwich or sub that I've ever had. Like there's not even a close second. So in that category, Publix definitely wins. But that actually brought me to something that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And it's a little bit of a story time. This is a sit down story time vlog, because some of you guys might not know this, but going out to eat and like chains and restaurants is probably different for me and for most people who live in Alaska than for people who live like here in the rest of the US. Because I remember growing up, one of the biggest like treats of going on vacation to the lower 48 states was you get to have all of these restaurants that you had only heard about. Because growing up in Alaska, we didn't have at the time like Olive Garden. We didn't have like all of these other chain restaurants. It's only been in the last decade or two that more and more of those have started to come to Alaska. And so it's funny because for a lot of my life, such a huge part of vacation was restaurants, and not even like great local restaurants, but like super mediocre chain restaurants. Like I cannot even tell you how often I went to an Olive Garden on vacation. Now, is Olive Garden good? Yes, it's totally fine. Is it the best Italian food? Of course not. Any city that I went to an Olive Garden in, I could have found a better Italian restaurant. But in Alaska, what was so unique is that we would still have all of the commercials for all of these restaurants. And so like we would see all of their advertisements, we'd see all of their commercials, we'd be bombarded with their marketing all of the time, but we had no ability to actually like experience them. And so I kind of grew up with these brands knowing what they are and like always wanting to try them, but never having a chance to do that until you went on vacation. And that's why vacations were always full of like these restaurants that you would never get to experience otherwise. And what's so funny is that even though that has changed largely now, like most of the places, most of the restaurants that we used to go to all of the time on vacations, we have those in Alaska. But there are still some exceptions. And the one I'm gonna talk about today is Chick-Fil-A. Gotta switch arms, my arm's tired. Is Chick-Fil-A. Now, on this trip, and I do this a lot, and some of you guys will know that I do this, I actually brought like an insulated cooler bag, because before I go to the airport, I'm gonna go buy Chick-Fil-A, and I'm gonna buy like 20 Chick-Fil-A sandwiches. And what I'm gonna have them do is I'm gonna have them make them with the pickles on the side, because if you keep the pickles on the sandwich and then you travel for 12 hours, it's gonna get all mushy. You don't want that. So pickles on the side, and then I'm gonna have all these sandwiches in like an insulated cooler, and that is gonna go inside one of my suitcases. And then when I get back to Anchorage, I will have a bunch of Chick-Fil-A sandwiches, not for Sherri and I, but for like all of our friends. Because when you show up in Anchorage with Chick-Fil-A, it is like Snow White in the forest with animals, and like the friends just flock to you. It's like they know. And so I'm bringing back Chick-Fil-A for like Desi. I'm bringing back Chick-Fil-A for Rance and Brittany. I'm bringing back Chick-Fil-A, of course, for Sherri, because Sherri Beth needs to have her Chick-Fil-A sandwich. And as I was thinking about having the Publix sub earlier today, I thought, gosh, most people in the country, Publix sub would not be a big deal at all. Like, it's super normal. But again, when you live in a place where you don't have that option, where you don't have one near you, there is like a novelty to it, right? And so that's how it was growing up with all of these chain restaurants like Applebee's and TGI Fridays and Olive Garden and all of those kind of things. But that really is still the way it is for us with like Chick-Fil-A, that when one of our friends leaves Alaska and they come back and they bring Chick-Fil-A, it is like a celebration. We are all so happy that we get our chicken sandwich. Now, is it like 10 to 12 hours old and had it been stuck in a suitcase and traveled across the country? Absolutely. Is it as good as when you get a Chick-fil-A sandwich at the restaurant? Not even close. But it's better than not having one at all. And in Alaska, that's our option. And so I don't know, I thought you guys just might find that a little bit interesting, sort of the unique perspective that we have as Alaskans, where for most of my life growing up in Alaska, again, we got bombarded with the marketing and advertising of all of these restaurants that we had no ability to go to. And so vacations became the time that you could try them all. It was the time that you could finally taste what an Olive Garden breadstick was like. And so that's what vacations were. But fortunately now, vacations are just apparently like Publix subs and then a suitcase full of Chick-Fil-A sandwiches. So friends, a very different Sunday vlog. I fully understand that, but I just wanted to make a video and have one up for you guys. I wanted to try a Publix sub and just see what the hype was all about. And I get it. It was a really good sub. My all-time favorite? No. Still pretty darn good though. So friends, thanks for hanging out with me. I love you guys so much. Thanks for being a part of our community. Thanks for following along on all of our LeggLife journeys and adventures. And we will see you tomorrow on Monday on the next LeggLife video.